Conformity gate isn't over, and at this point, that's hard to deny. If Stranger Things were really finished, we wouldn't still be talking about it, and we definitely won't still be finding details that could have been fixed or cleaned up after release. But we're not. A lot of these inconsistencies don't feel accidental. Netflix has already proven that they can edit things post-release. They literally removed Holly's Under Armour logo once after people noticed it. So, post-production fixes are clearly possible. Which raises the question, why weren't these other things fixed? Why does it flip to grey when grey was already confirmed as a memory mistake? And why do the episode posters still have visual inconsistencies that don't match the timeline? These aren't old VFX shots. They are marketing assets. They are controllable, and yet they were left untouched. That doesn't feel sloppy, it feels intentional. At this point, it starts to look less like mistake and more like breadcrumbs. Details meant not to be noticed. Maybe even meant to make conformity gate trend. Because at this scale, trends don't just happen. Someone always benefits. Which leads to the bigger question, if the story is really over, why is the marketing still going this hard? The Duffer brothers kept repeating one phrase leading up to the final. The Dark Christmas. But what we got wasn't dark. It was emotional, heartfelt. It wrapped things up neatly, but dark, not really. No truly major dies. Max wakes up, Lucas gets his moment, Steve survives again, Hopper gets a future, and that's not a Dark Christmas. That's a comfort food. And that disconnects matter because Stranger Things has always delivered on its promises. When they warned us something bad was coming, it actually happened. Season 1 took Will, Season 3 took Hopper, and Season 4 took Max. But Season 5 pulls back at the very last second. If there's one character this theory keeps circling around back to me, it's Mike. And that's not random. Mike isn't just a narrator at the end. He's a storyteller, a dungeon master, and the one whose role has always been about shaping meaning, explaining chaos, and turning fear into something understandable. So when the finale ends with Mike literally telling a story that matters, what's strange is how different he feels in that epilogue. He's calm, like too calm. He's not questioning anything, he's not pushing back. He accepts the ending as it's already settled. And that's not who Mike usually is. When something feels wrong, Mike never stops asking the question. Then there are the visual parallels, the posture, the hair, the framing, the way he positioned Mirror like a Henry Creel. More than the early season Mike. That doesn't feel subtle. It feels intentional. If Vecna needed one mind to anchor an illusion, Mike makes a terrifying sense. He is emotionally vulnerable. He's deeply tied to 11, and most importantly, he's the one who can convince everyone else that the story makes sense. That would explain why some characters feel off. But no one reacts. If Mike believes this is how things end, the rest of the group follows just like they always have. And that reframes the conformity gate. It's not about obvious mind control. It's about acceptance, choosing the version of reality that hurts the least. Mike doesn't want to fight anymore. He doesn't want to lose anything else. So if Vecna offers him a world where the story feels right, he accepts it. Will, who has been walking antenna for danger since season 1, barely registers anything after the fight. That alone should set off the alarms. Before, he could sense Vecna from miles away. His neck burned, his body locked up, his voice changed. But now, after supposedly defeating Vecna for good, Will just moves on. That's not growth, that's inconsistency. Same with the Mike. The show has never portrayed him as someone who lets things go easily. He spirals, he obsesses, he questions everything, yet in the finale, he accepts closure with almost no resistance. That's not Mike Wheeler. The only way this behavior makes sense is if what we're watching isn't reality, but resolution being imposed on them. A version of events designed to feel finale, but not true. Vecna's greatest strength has never been a physical power. It's control, psychological control. Making people accept lies before they hurt less than the truth. And that's exactly what the finale feels like. Not a victory, a settlement. A vision of the story where everyone stops asking questions. Where the world feels quieter, the pain is dulled, the fight feels over, even though nothing was truly fixed. That's why people didn't just dislike the ending, they rejected it. Because subconsciously, it doesn't behave like a Stranger Things ending. But it behaves like something pretending to be one. And if this is intentional, then episode 9 isn't extra content. It's the moment that the illusion breaks. In the direct response to the conformity gate, the Duffer brothers were asked very recently whether they would be ever considering adding more to the story or bringing character back. Their answer was simple, but loaded. Never say never. That doesn't confirm anything, but it doesn't reopen the door. Especially when the question is being asked right on the conformity gate is dominating the conversation. Timings matter, and this wasn't an old interview being recycled. It was published yesterday, fresh and relevant. They followed it up by joking that in 20 years, if they were broke and needed money, Stranger Things is their safety net. And I don't know about you, but that didn't sit right with me. Not because it's impossible, but because it frames returning to this world as a cash grab, not a creative pull. Not unfinished ideas, not characters they have lived with for a decade, not fans asking real questions, just money. And that's weird. This isn't a small indie project. Stranger Things is one of the most successful shows of all time. If they wanted money, there are easier ways than reopening a story this massive. So you have to wonder, was that line deflection, sarcasm, or a way to dodge a conversation? They're not ready to have yet. Because if the story were truly airtight and complete, there would be no reason to joke about return at all. They also mentioned a frustration with company capitalizing on confirmity-gate, saying it fuels a conspiracy thinking, but there are this thing, confirmity-gate didn't start it because fans had delusional, started because the show left behind inconsistencies, visual contradictions, story beats that didn't fully land. People didn't invent this out of their boredom. They reacted to what was on screen. And if you think the same, please go down below, subscribe and like my channel.